We'll call this Atwater meeting of the Atwater City Council to order July 25th, 2022, 6 p.m. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Juan, hate to interrupt you. Hi, Luther. Would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Juan? And our invocation by Pastor Alan Thomas. So remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please, welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here today. Thank you for this. Father, we come before you in the name of Jesus. And Abba, we give you praise, we give you glory, we give you honor for this moment, God. We come together in unity and one heart, one mind, and one soul, God, in order to do the business of this city, God, and for the citizens of this city. I pray your blessing, God. I pray your leading upon every leader in this place today. Let everything be done decently and in order. And Father, in all of these things and all the decisions that are made today, we acknowledge you as our supreme, and we give you all glory, praise, and honor in the name of Jesus. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Roll call.
Ambrose,
Here.
Kale,
Here.
Raymond,
Here.
Button,
Here.
Creighton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Subsequent need items.
Mayor, there are none.
Approval agenda is posted or amended.
Motion to approve the agenda is posted.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Button.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Button,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Ceremonial matters. Recognition and retirement of Police Clerk 2, Juan Cifuentes. Did I say that right, Juan? You said it right. I didn't know that was your last name. So I've known Juan for over 20 years probably, but I didn't know your last name. We know him through the Veterans Group, the Castle Veterans Association. We remodeled the Veterans Pavilion, and Juan worked his tail off out there and been with the PD forever. So Police Chief Salvador, you want to take it away?
Sure. We're here to recognize one of our long-term employees, Juan Cifuentes. He's been with the department.
Chief, can you come up here?
Sure. He's been here, well, I've known Juan for 30 plus years. I beat you.
I want Juan to get up to Thank you, Brian.
Juan and I crossed paths in the 90s at Chowchilla PD. I was going and he was coming. So we spent time together at Chowchilla, and then our paths split, and then 3 years ago I came back, and here's Juan, right? So Juan's been with us for 34 years, and he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He did a whole lot of everything. He was a dog handler at one time. He was a reserve officer for a time, and he worked with Luther for a time, and worked at dispatch for a time, and then he found a home in records, and he was with our records unit for all the times that I've been the chief here, and just solid guy, solid work ethic. He'd come in, he'd sit down, and he'd go, "Chief, those officers." And I go, "But you were one." and he goes, "Yeah, but they just don't do it right." And we would have all kinds of conversations for 3.5 years about how they're supposed to do the business and how they're supposed to document and how they're supposed to pass all the records. So with that, I want to congratulate Juan on 34 years of outstanding service to the city of Atwater. We had a pizza party for him on his last day, and he got his own anchovy pizza that nobody would touch.
Attaboy, I like that.
So we congratulate you on a job well done.
I just want to thank everybody that supported me throughout the years, whether it was patrol, dispatch, or records. the council, past and present, and my family.
Keep going. We're listening. We just want to come join you.
Oh.
We're really proud of you.
My family and all friends and coworkers throughout the years. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed serving this community, and hopefully I made a change in somebody's life. So.
Juan's the kind of guy that definitely changed a lot of people's lives. I guarantee you that. When nobody was looking, Juan was always there working, doing what he could, always thinking of trying to make things better. The chief was elaborating on that. And he remembers he was a police officer once, and then things changed, and he got into records and administration. But the relationship I've seen with the Atwater PD, the officers, with you is exemplary. You know, you guys are really tight. You know what they're doing out in the field, and you're always there for them and always backing them up. So that's really important and impressive. But most of all, we did a really big remodel the last 3 or 4 years, Brian, down here at PD. And Juan was there for every part of that. Every time I came in to check on it with the chief, Juan was either painting or doing drywall or doing something physical. So it was pretty cool for somebody to volunteer his own time back to his own job. So that means he loves what he does, and he's just an awesome employee and friend. I'm going to miss you, but you're not going too far. You're going to be back in the community, and we're going to keep you involved. I saw Luther back there, so us at the Veterans group, we're going to keep you involved. Councilman Kale's got the Veterans Hall downtown running, so we expect to see you every Wednesday night at Hamburger Night. But I'd like Councilman Raymond to say something, and we'll pass it through.
One, I've seen you for years around here, talked, and you know how I feel about you and what I've always said. You're here when other people aren't, and then some. So I appreciate you, and we're really going to miss you, and it's going to be a big hit to the department not having you around, man. Thank you for all your time served.
Yeah, thank you so much, and everything you do to impact the community. And you know, you were saying you hope you've made some impact on people's lives, and I have no doubt you have. So thank you.
Councilman Embry?
Well, our paths haven't really crossed too much in the 4 years that I've been here, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things. They're saying wonderful things about you. The chief is. So thank you for all your years of service. Thank your family for allowing you to spend those years with us. Now go enjoy your time with your family.
Well, I too have known Ron for a long time. When he was an officer, and a fairly new officer at that, he found, I don't know if it was you or if it was the other officer that found my daughter in a house doing bad things. And Ron goes, John, you just can't let your daughter do that. And I said, oh, trust me, she won't ever be a problem again. And she hasn't. And she always said, man, Dad, you know all the cops? And I was like, I know most of them because I played softball with them. You never played with us, but I appreciate everything you've done for the city. Every time I've ever come in, you always had a great answer for us. I appreciate everything that you've given, and trust me, you have made a difference in life. Congratulations. Enjoy your retirement. Okay, good.
So, Chief, can you come back over? And we'd like to invite your family up here at this time so you can introduce them. So, if your beautiful bride can come up, and then I'll let you have the microphone back, and you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so this is my wife, Tamara, my daughter, Ashley, my grandson, Walter, my granddaughter, Connie, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, Vonna and Alan Nelson. So this is my support, and I really appreciate you guys.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you for everything. Family, thank you for giving it to us for 30 plus years. He's all yours now, so the honeydew list can start. Mine is done. But again, thank you very much from all of us at Atwater PD and the residents of the city of Atwater. Job well done. Thank you. Enjoy your retirement.
Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you guys very much. I know you love city government, so you're gonna have to stay for the rest of the council meeting. No? Oh, okay, so we'll take a pause here, let you guys leave if you guys don't want to stick around for the rest of it, and once you're gone, we'll continue. But thank you for all your service, and thank you for letting us have him. Supervisor, you'll be up next. Presentations. Supervisor, District 3. Welcome.
Hello, Mayor, Council, everybody else. Justin, it's good to see you up here. Congratulations on that. It'll be a quick update. I apologize, I just came back from National Association of Counties where we were able to elect a second vice chair, a rural county representative. So it's nice at the federal level to have that representation, people who are dealing with the same stuff that we're dealing with. So we'll have some direct input at a national level. Also, I just wanted to bring up the SURF program. I don't know, Lori has probably been involved in this. I don't know if she has updated you, but it's the Community Economic Resilience Fund. It's something we've been working on for about a year now. They've come in with different regional programs, and we are with San Joaquin County, Stanislaus County, and Merced County. We are the smallest county, but we have been very heavily entrenched in it, and we were just awarded we're the convener. So all the funds will be coming through actually our workforce development group. So we'll be dispersing the funds through there for all 3 counties. So that's good that we get to touch the money first. So we get to make the first decisions. Also, on July 21st, we executed a new contract with a new health officer, Dr. Asadi, out of Merced. We'll be doing it for the interim, and it looks like it's going to be for about 2 months before we find a full-time health officer. Also, the sheriff will be doing his Truth Act this next on 8/23 at the Board of Supervisors meeting. It's an annual report out that the regarding immigration going through our jails, and so I think all entities have to do that. But I know the sheriff does it annually, and he'll be doing it on 8/23. Also, I just wanted to touch base to let everybody know with the wells going dry, and this is in the unincorporated areas, but we're still in contract with Self-Help, and so they do have a bottled water program as well as a replacing a well program. It's actually a big tank there that they fill up with water and continue to, for those residents who are running out of water during this time. And the Self-Help phone number is 559-651-1000. And I have a continuation for someone up for the county, a big program that we're doing. And it's one I recommend you guys all go to, because I attend it, and it's a great opportunity. Got it.
Thank you, Supervisor McDaniel. Good evening. My name is Sharon Wardale Trejo, and I am the director of the Merced Mariposa Regional Department of Child Support Services. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about our Child Support Awareness Month, which is August, and some of the activities that we have planned specifically here in the Atwater community. So Child Support Awareness Month is really our opportunity to highlight the services of our program and help the community become aware of what we do and how we help both parents be financially supporting their children. And through the month of August, we do a number of outreach activities. Specifically, this August, we will be having our 3rd annual Kids Connect Community Celebration. And this year, we are holding that event specifically in Atwater in conjunction with the Atwater Library. It'll be on August 3rd, a Wednesday, between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. This event is free to the community. It is family and children specific. So what we do is we reach out to the community. We partner with various programs and organizations that provide services to children and families. And we have them there as sort of a resource event. So we have entertainment, we have snacks and goodies, we have a backpack drive, we give away raffle prizes. But really it's an opportunity for the community to connect with various partners that can help them through the summer and through the year as they go on. So I have with me a variety of flyers as well as information on the backpack school drive. We will be collecting donations for the backpacks if anyone is interested. We have drop-off sites at the Merced Library, the Atwater Library, as well as the Department of Child Support Services located at 3368 North Highway 59, Cross Street, Buena Vista. So with that, I just want to thank you. We're looking forward to holding the event in Atwater this year. I think it's going to be a great event. We know that Atwater steps up and participates, and being that this is your 100-year anniversary, we know it's going to be a big event. It's a perfect time to do it. So we're really excited about it.
Thank you very much, and we're excited, and thank you for the library. The new roof and paint job looks wonderful. So we're excited about it, and we continue to work with you guys. Thank you.
There's a lot of goodies too, so invite the families out there for the kids. Are there any other questions?
Just going to say, for that event that you were talking about, have you had a chance to or had much success with connecting with the school districts and having them, you know, kind of get some stuff out to the parents through Parent Square? I know they can usually get information out there pretty quick that way too.
If we don't have that already, I can certainly make sure we have that as part of our connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know our district here in Atwater, they're really good about mass producing, you know, information like that through Parent Square. So they, you know, I work there, so we can talk later, and we can get together, and because I think it's really great what you guys are doing. So.
I appreciate that, and we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank
Thank
you.
Consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If discussion is requested on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
I'm going to open up the public comment now. Are there any members of the public inside the chambers who'd like to speak on regarding any items remaining on the consent calendar? So please come to the podium now. And are there any items on the consent calendar the City Council would like to remove for separate discussion or possible action? So any members of the public regarding the consent calendar, please come to the podium. State your comments. Welcome.
Linda Dash, Atwater. Your check number 20193, paid payable to Lou Edwards Group for $6,000. Your check number 20083, and I thought that you're no longer dealing with Doug White, Brenner White, in the amount of $6,350. And then it just says check number, and it just says 0. And I'm kind of questioning that a lot. I see a lot of Chase. I don't know if it's a Chase credit card, but to me, it's not very transparent to the general public of what you're spending it on and who you're making payment to. I also question the almost $700,000 that you've paid to RMA for 1 month. That's
Thank you.
pretty high. Never mind. Thank you.
Okay, any other members of the public? See none, we'll close the public comment, bring it back to council for direction.
Mayor, I'd like to remove item 8.
Any other council members? Okay. Motion?
Motion to approve consent calendar as amended.
I'll second.
Motion by Button, second by Kale.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Button,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes.
Motion,
Okay, go ahead.
motion passes.
Item 8, approving contract change order number 2 to the general construction contract with Techno Coatings, Inc. for the water tower renovation recoding project with, and accepting water tower renovation recoding project as complete. Public Works Director Vincent, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Vincent. No.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, on this
Wait,
item,
Let's see what, you got a question? We'll let Councilman Raymond go and see if you can answer that.
Director Vincent, welcome to this world now. I hate change orders, and the project's been done for the most part. Now we have a change order of $68,626 that need to, I'm just trying to figure out why.
yeah. So originally, when we had the pre-job walk on this project, T-Mobile and AT&T had an estimated time frame of 2 weeks to remove their antennas, their equipment, their conduit from the tower. It ended up being about 3 to 4 months. So this stretched out the project for Techno Coatings into the windy season for us, into late fall. And the shrink wrap, I think you've seen it, writ 3 times. So this change order is just to cover the cost for them for the additional time they had the scaffolding and the crew to repair the shrink wrap.
Is it possible to go after the T-Mobile and AT&T, the people that delayed it, to cause us this? Because the residents shouldn't have to eat that cost when it was their issue.
I don't know. They just gave an estimated time frame. There was no contract written that it's going to be 2 weeks and that's it. They said COVID loss of employees and supplies. So I don't really see a chance of us going after.
Okay. So it's the typical excuses.
Correct.
From them. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other council members have any questions?
And they did complete the whole project, and I know at one point there was some problems with it.
Yes. When we did the unveiling, the whole project wasn't done yet. They still had a second coating they had to do on the tower, and they still had to go do some minor touch-ups. And also they had to install fall protection on the lower ladder and the upper ladder.
Okay.
That's what took so long for this NOC to be presented to the council.
Okay, thank you.
Direction?
Motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Kale.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Button,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Raymond,
No fault to you, Director Vincent. No.
Creighton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 9, reports and presentation from staff. Number 9, initiates proceedings for the annual assessment levy with respect to the various maintenance districts. This is usually a consent item. Is there anything?
There are 2, Mr. Mayor, you're correct. There are 2 items on the agenda tonight relative to the levying of assessments through various assessment districts throughout the
Something
city.
unusual on these? since they're-
No, and I want to thank each of the council members and yourself, Mr. Mayor, for thumbing through 300 plus pages of the report and your attention to it. I don't want to expand on that too much. I just want to make sure that the council is aware that this is typically done in 2 parts. One, the engineer's reports that has to be done, and then our intention to levy those assessment districts in working with the Merced County Assessor's Office and tax collector to collect those amounts. The city council gave clear direction previously by resolution on what limits would be allowed to be assessed and what what consumer price index increases would be allowed under the process. Everything you see tonight has been done in accordance with the resolutions as previously instructed by the council.
Yeah, because I read the 300 pages and I didn't see
I expect-
any changes from last year.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, this time I'll open up for public comment. Any members of the public that come forward on this item, please come to the podium, state your name. Nobody? Okay. So we'll close public comment, bring it back to council. Direction or questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Kale, second by Button.
Button,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Raymond,
No.
pardon me. Kale,
Yes.
Creighton,
Yes.
motion passes.
Item 10, resolution calling, giving notice of, and consolidating general municipal election to be held Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, regarding the renewal of a transaction and use tax measure in the city of Atwater. Assistant City Manager Del Rey.
Mayor and City Council, at your last meeting, the City Council provided direction for a measure on the November 8th general election ballot to renew the special transaction and use tax at the 1 cent rate to fund local police and fire protection services. Thank you to the several hundred residents that have taken the time to give your feedback on this important conversation, either through our recent community surveys or through Let's Talk Atwater, the city's engagement effort over the last several months. Residents continue to highly value and prioritize Atwater's police and fire services and have told us they would like to see our locally controlled public safety sales tax continued at the 1 cent rate. The resolutions to take actions consistent with this is before the council tonight. The resolutions have been slightly modified to ensure the ballot question explicitly mentions fire protection services. Staff is recommending adoption of the 3 listed resolutions. As a reminder, the City Council's action tonight is not to endorse, oppose, or levy a tax. Only voters can decide on this matter. Your action tonight is simply to allow voters to decide on this issue or not. Allowing voters to decide this issue will require a minimum of 4 votes of this council, and ideally a unanimous vote of the City Council. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I'd like to open up the public comment first, council, if you're okay with that, or do you guys want to go first? Okay, this time we'll open up the public comment. Any members of the public like to come forward on this item, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. Welcome.
Keith Plesky, Atwater. Just to the mayor, city council members, city manager, and all those who supported public safety tax measure. Small percentage of people living in the city of Atwater pay a district public safety tax. Many don't even know that they're paying this tax because it's collected on their property tax bill. This was an agreement between the builders and the city. People who own these homes had no say-so. On my last property tax bill, it was for the amount of $856 for this district public safety tax. There's no sunset clause on the collection of this money, and it goes up 4% every year. I've read some comments on how we need to support an increase on our sales tax. People say we need to support our police and fire departments. I agree with them saying we need to support our police and fire departments. And it appears a small percentage of us do this by paying the district public safety tax. So I ask those mentioned above if they will volunteer to pay the city of Atwater $856 a year with an increase of 4% every year for public safety. Those already paying a public safety tax, I encourage you to vote no on any additional tax measure proposed. In 2021-2022 adopted budget shows the city has collected $643,000 on this district tax. Pays for 3 officers and with 1 being a sergeant. So my questions, these districts don't have one of these officers assigned to their district, do they? These districts don't get extra patrol, do they? everyone in Atwater gets public safety services, even though they don't live in one of these districts, don't they? So I clarify, these districts get nothing over and above those who don't pay for this tax. I was hoping the city manager was here.
You have 45 seconds.
I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Please come to the podium, state your name for the record.
Mayor, I do have one speaker card regarding this item.
Okay, we'll do the speaker card if that's okay with you. You can go up. He was already getting ready to get up.
Okay.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Hunsuck. I live at 3256 Scott Drive in Atwater. Married my wife here, what year was that? 80. I've been here as a resident on and off, and then lived here continuously since '94. As a city, we've been through some perilous times. I know we've been through a lot of times where it was like, how are we ever going to not go bankrupt? And right now, we face a really tough decision. I went to the chief's meeting for breakfast the other day and telling us how we have a very young offshore floor. I understand that. And we run a risk right now. We're sitting on a cusp. It seems to me that we face, do we have lack of safety? Or do we face pulling people's taxes so much that we can't afford to put groceries on the table? What I'm hearing right now is there's a lot of that side. And I would urge you, as you put this together, I'm going, why 1 cent? Why not keep the 1/2 cent going with the specific sunset? But having said that, that's what you're planning to do. I just want to let you know that I oppose it, and I encourage other people to say, hey, I just don't think this is the right time. Already, the price of food is so high, not to mention gas, right? So anyway, having said that, I'd like to make my public statement that I'm opposed to the raising of a 1 cent, especially if I read it right, it continues ad infinitum. All right, so I think we need a sunset on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of, oh, we're going to do the speaker card next. Who do we have?
Gabe Santos.
Welcome. Thank you for filling out the card.
You're very welcome, sir. Gabe Santos, a resident here of the City of Atwater, 3391 Shoreline Drive. I've been here to the city council members on various occasions. Thank you very much. I'd like to start off by thanking the council for all your hard work, and the city manager. Lori spent endless hours on this type of a measure. I respectfully disagree with the previous two speakers for the following reason, and there is a difference. I live on the north side of Atwater. Fire departments are 10 minutes away from my home, where my family and my 78-year-old parents live. The only way that we can move forward in the city of Atwater is to have an increase. I don't like taxes any more than anybody else. My message tonight is for the public. Over the last couple of years, I've seen a couple of residential homes unfortunately sustain some serious fire damage. Luckily, no loss of life. We currently have, some of the facts here are we've had 5 homicides in the city of Atwater this year alone. We have the lowest number of police officers we've had. Our staffing levels for fire departments are below the national standard. The only way we can increase that is to have this 1/2 cent increase for a total of 1 cent. I'm married. I have 2 children, so a family of 4. I went back and tried to estimate what I paid over the last 9 years with a 1/2 cent sales public safety tax. It equates to 25 cents for every $100 spent on non-taxable items. So that does not include food products for human consumption unless they're sold heated. It includes bottled water, candy, snacks, and food. Does not include animal life, feed, seeds, plants. Does not include prescription medicines. So what would this equate to for all of our citizens of Atwater? A 1 cent increase for public safety, it would equate to approximately 50 cents for every $100 spent. That's 1 cup of coffee. So what I challenge the citizens of Atwater is for 1 cup of coffee, we have additional firefighters, additional law enforcement, we have additional apparatus and equipment, state-of-the-art life-saving equipment. So that's what I challenge everybody is, yes, nobody likes taxes.
45 seconds.
And one of the other citizens is going to donate their 3 minutes to me. So Narita's.
You only get 3. You can't exchange.
No problem. So the funds can only be used for public safety, and it is governed by an oversight committee. So that's what we need to remember. It can't be used for anything else. By supporting this measure, we support all of the other city funding because it won't be pulled from other agencies or other organizations or departments. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that come forward this time? Welcome.
Linda Dash, Atwater. By the way, we have formed a committee, and it's the Atwater citizens supporting Atwater Police and Fire. We stand together. For those that think that this half-cent extra is going to bankrupt them, just wait until the ISO rating goes up, because, you know, we're going to be understaffed. I'm not sure, I don't know a whole lot about how the state comes in and inspects us, but our fire insurance on our homes will go up because we don't have the proper protection, okay? Our crime now is horrific. Our crime will go up because we're probably going to lose about between 9 and 11 police officers. So all I can say is, folks, a half cent, is that worth your life or your home?
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to come forward? Welcome.
Mayor, Council, Rick Wendling from Merced. I just have to say just a couple of things about this. Nobody really cries about not having, well, we all want police and fire protection. We all want good streets. One of the things that your city may be forced into by our state is health and human services mandates, where, and you may be forced or feel yourself forced to accept grants that fund health and human services. Basically, you don't have a right to a house. You don't have a right to, health and welfare services at the expenditure or expense of the city or the county or the state. You're supposed to do that yourself. So when you are spending money on other things besides fire and police protection and streets, you're spending money incorrectly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Cindy Vieira. The money I'm here to talk about is for our fire and police, and not only to sustain what we have, but also to be able to keep a budget so that we can keep our officers. The officers we have aren't going to continue to work on the budget from 10 years ago. We're going to become a training facility. So if you're going to compete with other agencies in this area, we can't just keep the half cent that we have. Prices are going up for everyone. They're going up for the city as well. So the money has to be there in order to continue to run the city. I've sat on the other side of that budget. Without this money, a few years down the road, you may be looking at not having a city fire department, or a city police department. So yeah, 50 cents, I think you said, on $100. And everybody drives through Starbucks every day and they raise their cappuccino 50 cents and just keep on rolling through. But you don't want to pay an extra 50 cents to keep your police department here. I heard something earlier about sorry, I ran from my car to get in here because I'm watching.
Take your time. You got a minute and a half left.
So I'm a little winded. I work in an industry where I'm very familiar with taxes and how documents are signed when you purchase a home. And when you purchase a home, you know darn well what your taxes are going to be. And if you haven't read those mortgage documents, then that's on you. It's there. You know what those taxes are for and how long they're going to last. It's legal, and they're clearly spelled out in all of those documents. So if that wasn't understood, you need to go back to the people who presented those documents to you and let them know that they presented something to you that you simply didn't understood, because you would have had that notarized and you would have under notary said, I understand what I'm signing. So again, I think that we need to look at more than this is a 50 cent raise.
45 seconds.
45 cent?
45 seconds.
50 cents on your $100. This is, do you want to keep your police department here? So I'm sorry, I know I sound winded, but I did run from my car because I wanted to get here before public comment was open. So myself, my family, my friends, and people that I know will be supporting this measure very strongly in November. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see you come in. Any other members of the public, please come to the podium. Welcome.
Jeannie Knight, 2916 Happy Valley Court. People are going to say I don't live in the city, so why am I talking? But I've paid over $1 million. I bought 4 trucks in the last 7 years, over $1 million. Part of my money came here. My fuel bill every month is $20,000 a month. All sales tax for here. And I am not complaining. I am all for this 1%. And that California state code for that property is 1102.6 that Keith might want to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who would like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
So in 2012, when Measure
Please state
H
your name
was-
for the record.
Anybody here not know who I am?
Please state your name for the record. We don't need to go through the.
I don't need to state my name for the record. It's not required.
You're not special.
Well, I know I'm not special, and neither
Why-
are you.
Don't act special. What's your name?
So in 2012, the council claimed that they didn't have any other alternatives but to go for the Measure H that we currently are under. Like then, it's now the same. The Measure H that you are proposing here tonight, once again, 229 people, let's remember, 229 people that a consultant who cost thousands and thousands of dollars out of Measure H public safety funds paid for this kind of crap. This is the second card that I got the other day. John, you asked last meeting, did you send the card
Direct
back
your
in?
comments this way,
No.
please.
I went and I didn't send this card back in. I didn't respond to this card. I respond to this council. This council should be responding to the people of this city. There should have been town hall meetings on this. A half cent is the highest percentage that would be passed, that would be able to pass in this city. A full 1 cent, a full 1 cent. Do you realize that we will go up to 8 3/4% sales tax in this city? If you're buying a house, you're buying a car, if you're buying any kind of a major appliance, whatever, you're going to pay 8 3/4 in Atwater compared to 8 1/4 in Merced. Does that make sense? For some people, that's real money. When it comes to the Oversight Committee, nobody's mentioned anything about the Oversight Committee. None. The Oversight Committee needs to have real oversight. When it comes to the bills of this city, have you looked at your water bill lately? It just went up $6. So that's another one that just went up. We're at 9.1 inflation rate. The maintenance districts are going up tonight per your vote. Everything is going up around here.
45 seconds.
And everyone around here seems to think that it's only a cup of coffee. Well, it's not just a cup of coffee. It's serious money to a lot of residents. It's serious money to a lot of people who may be coming to the city or may be wanting to do something in this city. When it comes to this whole place, Mr. Butt and I had a conversation, and I told him, you need to get your finances in order, starting with a graffiti abatement contract that has, for the last 8 years, roughly taken $384,000 of taxpayer money, and for what? Without one report, without one anything to account for all of the money. We hand in an invoice every month, we cut the check.
Thank you.
And that's the way it
Your
goes.
time's expired.
Vote no, half.
Have a good night. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
Rich Miller, 334 Silva Drive, also pastor Victory Baptist Church here in Atwater, 1280 Sierra Vista Street. I wasn't planning on speaking, and honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say, except that I think that, number one, we need to always be civil. That's the first thing. We need to always be respectful of one another when we have dialogue. Number two, that I'm still heartbroken about this issue personally because I'm not for taxes. I actually stated that I think we should continue with the half-cent tax with a sunset clause because I think that we need to reevaluate this in 10 years for situations like what was just brought up previously. It's not that I'm against police, I'm against fire, I'm totally for those things. I'm against mismanagement of funds. And when we hear about a change order for $60,000, do you know that's more than I make in a year? And I can't laugh about that. I can't make light about stuff like that because $60,000, someone should have been writing down in a contract, hey, we need your antennas moved by this time and they'll get back on this time. Because we left scaffolding up and we had to put plastic around that tower again, there was $60,000. And that's where I think my heart's broken because when it comes down to it, when I get ready to vote, I'm voting for people like Michael Salvador and Bobby Ayuso. I'm thinking about them and how that I support them, but I have an issue with how money gets spent sometimes and how things get overlooked. And I think that's what most people are going to be struggling with and going to be battling with. And so I just hope that, just as Mayor Pro Tem did in the last meeting, that we would stop and pray and ask God for wisdom on this. Because we need our fire, we need our police, and they need us. They have our back and we need to have their back. At the same time as the city, $60,000 on a change order, that's not good spending at all. So I hope that as we move forward, that we won't vote with our hearts, because our hearts can be desperately wicked, the Bible says, but that we vote as the Lord leads, because we need to have, once again, the backs of these men and women who support our community.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Michael
Nice beard, by the way.
Thanks. So I'll continually to keep coming up here each time we're going to be raising taxes. So in 2012, 2013, I was a lot younger, and I said, government mismanages money. If the city had put officers under the Measure H, that was supposed to be just a supplement. So the plan was, and I already saw ahead that government was going to mess up and then say, hey, we're going to lose officers because we put them under an amount of money that was going to disappear anyways or sunset. So what I foresee, and I'll foretell the future, that we're probably going to put officers under this new measure that doesn't have a sunset, and then in the future, someone's going to be asking for more money, and then they're going to claim, well, you're against police or you're against this. But the default is we didn't have this money before 2012. It wasn't there. So it's about being financially responsible with the money, to being good stewards of the money that citizens provide the people. And I'm always going to quote Frederick Bastiat because he was alive during socialism, and I'm going to continually talk about socialism. He said, see whether the law takes from some persons that which belongs to them, to give to others what does not belong to them. See whether the law performs for the profit of one citizen and to the injury of others, and act that this citizen cannot perform without committing a crime. So if I were a random citizen and I'm trying to fix a budget or something, and I go next door to my neighbors and I steal from them, that's a crime. But what the citizenry does is they all form a collective, and then somehow they think that it's okay because we're going to vote to then take more money from someone. But you wouldn't be able to do that as a regular citizen to your neighbor. So what do? You act as a collective, and you steal from others. And that's what society continues to do. And it's socialist, and it has been socialist, and it will continue to be socialist. It doesn't matter what people say. If you try and say that you're on one side of the political spectrum, that you're against socialism, no, you're for socialism, and it continues to be socialism. And I'll keep bringing up, too, that I don't have an officer in my back pocket.
45 seconds.
Chief Salvador is not in my back pocket, so we should be doing constitutional carry in this city and in this state so we can be able to defend ourselves and defend our families. Can't say anything about fire, but they're reactionary too. So if my house is already on fire, it's going to burn down unless they make it in time, but it is what it is. And public safety will always be reactionary. So we have to take care of ourselves. And the Supreme Court has said multiple times that we have a duty to protect ourselves, and government has no duty to protect us. So, but you have to be knowledgeable and look that stuff up yourself too.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Do we have any other speaker cards?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay, we'll close the public comment, bring it back to the dais for council direction or comments. Council, the item's yours. And just for the record, council, there are three, see if I get this right, I was briefed earlier by staff. We included in the resolution some wording where it says, can you point that out, Gina? To include fire protection also. Here, in this resolution box on your agenda item. So we didn't want to leave anything out. We wanted to be specific because there were questions. So it's police, fire. I'll read it actually. To prevent City of Atwater police, fire, 911 emergency response renewal measure. To prevent drastic cuts to Atwater's public safety measures, including elimination of Atwater's police department, maintaining emergency heart attack, stroke response times, medical services, fire protection, which is added, neighborhood police patrols, police officer training, investigate violent crimes. Shall the City of Atwater adopt a measure renewing its existing voter-approved sales tax at the 1 cent rate, providing $4 million annually until ended by voters, requiring audits and oversights of all funds only for Atwater. So these funds are specifically for the City of Atwater. There is and continues to be oversight audits. We go through the state audit. We also have an audit we do internally to submit to the state. So the checks and measures are there. It's yours, council, for direction or questions.
I have a question for staff here. So we've been getting lots of calls and some of us have different questions, comments. What is this? I know it says here in the question exactly for.
The ballot question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the ballot question is per state law, it is limited to 75 words, and it's intended to, it's not the actual measure itself. It's a question that in 75 words attempts to capture or summarize the actual ordinance. And what actually gets codified is a whole entire ordinance with multiple sections. That is the measure that the voters vote on, but per state law, you have to condense it in a question, and it has to be stated in a yes or no format. And it is, the essence of it is to restate the priorities and summarize the ballot measure itself. So the ballot question is not the measure. It's a question that is intended to summarize the measure.
Okay, and then for the ordinance, what are the funds going to be used for specifically?
Yeah, since this is a special use tax, it can only be used for the special purposes outlined in the ordinance. The ordinance specifies that it has to be used for public safety services, which is essentially equipment and personnel costs for both police and fire. And again, those are terms that are defined within the ordinance, but those are specific to public safety services for equipment and personnel related to police and fire.
And so when you say personnel, you mean adding bodies?
Correct.
I'll come back.
Councilman Button, you have a question?
And just looking at how, we're being transparent and making sure every penny that's spent, with this being filtered through oversight committees, and that's all built into this, correct?
That's for you, Frank.
Yeah, so we have the Citizens Oversight Committee, which is an advisory committee that
This is our legal counsel, by the way, Frank Blendario.
Yeah.
So people know I didn't introduce him.
Yeah, thank you. That convenes quarterly to basically go over the finances and discuss the use of those funds. You also have, there's also a segregated fund that has to be, all those monies have to be deposited into and used from. It doesn't, so it's clear that you're able to track those use of those funds. Those funds are also audited on a yearly basis by an independent auditing firm. And then on top of that, the ordinance also contemplates an expenditure and spending plan, where essentially the council has to, at a public meeting, before it makes any purchases, adopt an expenditure plan that will spell out to the public transparently what the plan is on how to use the measure funds for those years. And those will be approved at a public meeting and will be amended from time to time by the council only at public meetings. It can't be done administratively.
I don't know if this is something that'll, but I'm just seeing as far as what's possible for the sunset clause to change. Would that be something we could amend?
I think you'd have to, if this is a continuation from the last council meeting, so this is actually going to be placing this in its form on the ballot, but as it reads, the ordinance reads, at any time, the sitting city council can change whatever and bring it, well, not the city council, the people would have to vote on it again to rescind it.
Mhm.
So it is a forever, but it's, Frank, can you explain in legal jargon?
There's an opportunity for any initiative or referendum measure to go on the ballot, or even the council, a future council, to place on a ballot a measure that would sunset this current tax. But as currently framed, there's no sunset.
So if I got the question right, how could you change it if you adopt it the way it is and the voters voted in November? Was your question, how could it ever be amended or changed?
I was saying,
Okay. I don't think it could be changed today because we're already pretty far down the road with this, because the next step would be for staff to put it on the ballot. So I don't think time-wise, if this is going to continue, that it would work out. Am I correct on that, city attorney?
Yeah, I mean, there's a timeline to get this to the county. So this, pursuant to council's direction, this is what came back.
So I want to get something clear. So everything that we've done that was approved, or at least was seen by the Oversight Committee, and then it was audited by somebody else outside of the city to evaluate whether it was done correctly. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the yes, that's what the ordinance says.
Oh, so we didn't spend this money loosey-goosey. We spent it the way it should be done.
By law.
By law. Okay, I just want to make that perfectly clear.
Okay. Any other council members have any questions?
Are we discussing the Oversight Committee now too?
No, we're discussing the agenda item as present.
So it doesn't include the
You could bring it
ordinance
up if you'd like to talk about it, yes.
tonight?
If you feel you need to, yes.
Yeah, I was just curious about, the problem I've always had is the Oversight Committee is always after expenditures. So I was just looking to see if there's a way to have it to where it can go before them and then come to us.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's administrative, where the city manager might be able to include those in the discussions, not the ultimate decision, but the oversight. The oversight committee, the way it reads in the city ordinance, is to make sure that there's no illegal spending, or, as the city used to do in previous years, they would steal money from this fund and go pay for it over here or whatever else. So the oversight committee was post-expenditure or post-decision-making to make sure that those funds were legally categorized and expended, that they weren't being stolen or misused or misguided. But I don't see why we couldn't have the oversight committee, whatever that body may be, included in discussion. I don't know if there's a legal reason we could or couldn't.
I guess what I can say is the current ordinance as constructed, it's intended to be a sunshine statute as it relates to the Citizens Oversight Committee. It's advisory, but it's intended to cause a light, to shine a light on the expenditures, to hold the city and the people that use the money responsible, and those that hold the city's funds, as stewards of the city's funds, responsible. So although it doesn't contemplate that they have the power that's given to them they don't have the jurisdiction to pre-approve purchases, It is a sunshine statute that's essentially intended to cast a light on it if there is any misappropriation or use of funds that aren't appropriate. And that's the intent, to hold the city and the city council and city staff accountable for expenditures.
So if we can't make changes today and the voters approve this, then after it's approved, then we can make definite changes in with the oversight committee
I don't
to
wanna-
include that.
I don't want to say, yes, it's easy, because this is codified. This will be a municipal code. It's not, you don't show up to a council meeting and change it like that.
No, I understand that.
It's a
I'm
huge
just saying,
process.
but
to change anything.
the council can make that,
But I don't
that.
think it would be, from listening to the attorney, that it's the way it's written for the oversight committee is, if whatever council sitting here spends the money inappropriately, that committee is to raise the alarm to the rest of the community that there's something crazy going on in the council. Do I understand that correctly?
That's the point of the sunshine statute.
Are we clear?
Okay, I got that.
There may be, that being said, there may be an opportunity later on for the city to amend
that's what I was
portions of
thinking.
the ordinance that do not affect the tax rate.
Yeah.
And also,
And so that would be something the city could look at. I can't commit to that legally right now as I sit here, but I do think there's a carve-out that would allow for some flexibility as it relates to the non-rate, that would not affect the tax rate. Because that tax rate cannot be changed, whatever the voters' will is.
Yeah.
and there's still on Raymond's discussion on the oversight, the budget is adopted every year, so we have a plan, so we are transparent about what the expenditures are going to be for that year, because you can't pre-spend the money we don't have. So we get the money, then we spend it, and so you'll see those expenditures beforehand. So there's several opportunities for the residents and the oversight committee and to see what this council or the future council will be spending that money on. So I think, as the attorney said, that the main reason for the oversight committee is to sound an alarm if there's any weirdness going on and misappropriation of funds. So if that helps you with anything, Councilman Raymond? Okay. Direction?
I will make a motion as much as I didn't want to go up to 1 cent, that I wanted to keep it for a half cent, and was put in this position. I will make a motion to approve these these resolutions.
Second.
Motion by Kale, second by Ambrose? Or second by Button?
As,
Sorry, I was thinking of you, Dan.
just to make it very clear, because we did make the change and adding to the resolutions as amended.
As amended,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay,
So motion by Kale, second
by Button.
by Button. Ambrose?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
At this point, it looks like it's a done deal. It's up to the voters, not up to us up here. So, yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Comments from the public?
At this time,
One second, we're going to have plenty of time.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Action will not be taken on any item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and replaced on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to open up the public comment now. Do we have any speaker card?
Nope. Yes, Mayor, we do.
Okay. We're going to hold you at the podium, and then we're going to check the speaker cards after that. So, welcome.
Hi,
And the floor is yours.
Dash, again, Atwater. Listen, what is this for?
That's county health
Do not touch the podium.
Idea.
It was pretty hard not to touch the podium,
for COVID.
but I'm sorry. Holy crap. You know, I do have our resolution from 2013 about our oversight committee, by the way, with me, and it's pretty clear. But anyhow, that's not what I want to ask you about. You know, at your council, when you approved the warrant list and so forth, I came up here and I questioned 3 items, and I kind of thought, at least the way they did it once before, that your finance director would pull those and have an answer, so we would know what check number 0 that comes out to $700,000 is for. I know it's not a check, but I mean, I'm going to go home and I won't sleep tonight because I just didn't know why $690,000 went to RMA for 1 month. And also why Brenner White was getting paid $6,350. I didn't think we were doing business with them anymore because we've got a wonderful qualified attorney sitting up there. So, but nobody answered my question, and I don't know. I just kind of hurt my feelings. So then also I wanted you to pull the Lou Edwards warrant for $6,000 because they didn't come through like they were supposed to. They had, I know, Laurie and Janelle hustling their heinies off, and they only found 200 people in our population of 31,000 to talk to. So, whatever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who do we have first on the speaker card?
Don Garcia.
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry, Don Caesar. I apologize.
Welcome.
I apologize. I apologize, sir.
Caesar, 741 Wedgwood Lane. I live near Joan Fall Park, which I think is maybe your district. Okay. I talked with Parks and Streets, gentleman by the name of Renee. He told me the new director was going to be here from Public Works. I don't know who. You're the new Public Works. Okay. Our concern is, and I didn't come here to talk about taxes, but I can include that in this, is the $7 that apparently the city's going to collect from me for my water, with no regulations on the city that I see. Now, I walk every day. I just had back surgery, so I have to walk every day, which takes me right past Joan Fall Park. The sprinklers run almost every day. Now, I can't say every day because I can't walk every day, but I walk average of 4 times a week. They not only run, but they water the street, the parking lot, and the grass area, which is not grass, it's dirt, so the grass is never going to grow, is flooded. I don't know if it's a timer system. I don't know if somebody comes and turns it off, turns it on, but it runs on Saturday. The only day I've never seen it run is on a Sunday. And when you stand by the gutter and you watch hundreds of thousands of gallons just run down the gutter, and then the city wants to charge me another $7, I have a rock front yard with succulents and cactus. I water it maybe twice a month. You want to charge me more money? Is there any regulations on how much water the city can use? And do they get fined the $2.04 or whatever it is when they go over their limit? You want me to pay more tax? You want to pay $7 and $2.04 if I go over my allotted amount. But I don't see where there's any regulations that the city has on themselves as far as their usage. Thank you.
Thank you. Who do we have next on the speaker card?
Mayor, we don't have any more speaker cards.
Do we have any members of the public who'd like to come up for public comment? Welcome.
Now, you're wondering where the money is at. You got $700,000 going to RMA. Settle the Sam Joseph case and stop spending our money. That is money going for litigation, and that's not the only one. You guys know it. You're all back in closed session talking about it. You know all about it. The Sam Joseph case is the most expensive one you got right now. Settle it and get it over with. This card here, by the way, you didn't say one word on this thing about anything having to do with an oversight committee. Nothing changes. You guys just voted for the same crap that we've been dealing with. Spend the money and then, oh, let's bring it to the oversight committee so that they can go and review it. And then what? It's money already spent. You know, you guys think that we're all stupid out here, that we don't see how this stuff works. This is not the way it works. And you guys just voted for all of this stuff. And all of this stuff, you know, if you're seeking higher office, any other office, remember this, folks, when it comes to your vote.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to come forward? Welcome. We got one ahead of you.
Keith Pulaski, Atwater. This is for the city attorney. Hopefully I can get an answer. You guys voted for this measure, no sunset.
So I was informed by the attorney, we already had that agenda item. Do you have anything other than?
Yeah, I'd like to ask him a question about the sunset, how it works.
We could get with you afterwards, but that item already came up.
Okay, but everybody probably wants to know this answer, so.
Talk to the governor, it's rules, parliamentary procedure, sorry. Can you please be quiet back there, sir?
Okay, so I cannot ask.
Police officer,
a question.
can you make contact with that individual and ask him to be quiet? Sir, I don't make the rules, we can't discuss it again. So you already had your opportunity. I know you don't agree with me, and I'm not here to pick and choose winners and losers of what we talk about. Do you have anything other than what we already spoke about?
Yeah, okay. Last Measure H meeting, I went to the chief, police chief, and a representative from the fire talked about how many medical calls they go to. And the reason is, Lori said that we don't have ambulance service in Atwater. I contacted the supervisor. He says we do have an ambulance stage in Atwater. So what is it? Do we have one? Do we not have one? And why are they responding to these calls if we have an ambulance service? Also, I asked us several questions in my last thing. Do we ever get an answer? Does anybody ever answer us, or what?
So I'll hold your time on it. The questions that were asked, staff will get back to the individuals that asked the questions. We generally do that as a rule. So everybody that had questions tonight, there'll be staff members assigned to respond to you guys, make contact. You guys all know who spoke about your items. So it is important that everybody has a voice and you do get a response. It's very important. So, yes, sir.
All right.
So I want to add another 15 seconds.
That's fine. I'm just done. I'd like to speak with the city attorney after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public who'd like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
Gabe Santos. I just want to thank our law enforcement and our firefighters. We got a lot of fire activity taking place statewide right now. Got a lot of individuals that are away from home right now on multiple deployments throughout the state of California. Right outside our county here, up in Mariposa County, we have several fires, multiple members of the public that are evacuated. I also want to report an update to the council and the community members of the city of Atwater that thankfully the 2 homes that burned down last year, just over a year ago, are almost rebuilt. So it's taken over 14 months to get those rebuilt on Mermaid. So 2 occupants or 2 different households that have been displaced north side of Atwater that don't have that 10-minute response time, that adequate fire protection service. I'd like to thank the law enforcement and the firefighters. I know we got Chief Lopes in the back over here and Chief Salazar. But thank you for your services, and we hope that we can continue to keep you safe, to get you home safe to your families.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to come forward at this time? Welcome.
I just want to say that from the outside looking in, reversing where we were 7 years ago, at a huge deficit. So I want to congratulate, commend the city council and the administration for the city of Atwater for the budget, for being very fiscally responsible with the money, for taking good care of the citizens in the city of Atwater, and stating that today, even though we are very, very healthy, in order to maintain that, I think we need to consider who's been taking care of us and our monies and our properties for the last 4 years, 5 years, and that they've brought us through really difficult times and put us in a good situation. And those are the people that I trust, the ones who have done right by us. And if anybody has questions, then they can go back and look at the 14 and 15 budgets, 16 budgets, and look at your budget today and see how far we've come. And I'm really, really proud to be a part still of the community that has come that far. So thank you and congratulations, job well done.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? One more time, any members of the public come forward? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. City council matters, item 11, city council comments. The appointment of 3 technical members to the General Plan Technical Advisory Committee to assist with the update of the City of Atwater General Plan. So I just wanted to talk, I heard on this item before I bring it, open the public comment up, that there's some members of the public that aren't happy with the speed in which the update of the general plan's going. The general plan was adopted 20 years ago with an assumption that the military would still be here and we'd be around 45,000 people. And a lot of the assumptions are still true. We just hit 30,000 people, I believe, last year. Greg, if I'm not mistaken, do we break 30,000?
Almost
So
32.
So yeah, we've been devastated as a community for a long, long time. And in the last 4 years, we've been able to amass $1.5 or $1.7 million towards the general plan update.
After the adoption of the budget, I believe we're sitting right at 2.3.
So 2.3, the general plan update is not cheap. It doesn't happen overnight. A lot of the assumptions will still be relevant. Actually, we have a benefit of the city, county, state legislative people that brought in the Ferrari Ranch interchange, and we currently have the county and the city working on the Bellevue interchange connection. So there's a couple of huge traffic scenarios that weren't even in the plan that will alleviate a lot of problems and save us a lot of money, this community, because as we're all talking about taxes and this horrible economy that we're in, that we have to face every day of $7 gas, and I won't go there on everything else, but we methodically save the money to do this right. It costs a lot of money for these analysts to come in and tell us how our roads should flow and how our water system should be and how our wastewater system should be. All while we're doing that, we took the world's, well, not the world's, we'll say the state of California's worst water system and put in wellhead treatment, which was unprecedented west of the Mississippi in record time, under 14 months, without including it in the general plan, because the urban water management plan didn't even talk about it that heavily. So I want to defend what this council's doing as far as the general plan, because it's a misnomer to say that we've been laying idly. We've been working our tails off, this community. You guys have been working your tails off, getting things done and accomplished. Recycling, we heard the recycle can. China stopped taking our plastics and other things. So we got hit with that. So there's a lot of things that are going on that this community and the county and the state are trying to do, but outside influences are impacting those, but we're still meeting what we have to do. Regulations and unfunded mandates pour in monthly by the state of California. Every day you wake up, there's something new illegal that we're doing that we didn't even know we were doing it yesterday. So the exciting part of the general plan is we've got the money to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to appoint 3 members to the committee along with this council and staff. And it's going to be a great general plan update because we have better information, better knowledge, and a better sense of really where we're going to be going the next 20 years. And we're not going to have a plan to wait 20 years to update the general plan in 20 years. Around 10, 15 years from now, we need to start talking about how we're going to update the general plan, and staff's already working on that. So I just wanted to share that so you guys really know what's going on with our general plan and what we've been doing. So I'll open up to public comment, and which staff member has this item? Greg? So let's do a public comment first, and then, or actually, why don't you do your presentation, then if they have any comments, we can get those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Pursuant to a resolution that was adopted by the council at the request of staff, as the mayor had mentioned, your general plan is an extremely comprehensive planning document, extremely. The city of Atwater had not adopted a general plan or updated its general plan since the year 2000. There have been a lot of changes in the economy, a lot of changes to our circulation, to our land use, to the visions we thought we would have of the way that the city might look. There's a great deal of statutory and mandated material that must now go into a general plan. Because of the complexity of this document, you will see that staff is going to be returning to this council to ask for the engagement of certain professionals, technical professionals. But in addition to that, we need the guidance of a technical advisory committee. The technical advisory committee, pursuant to the last resolution, would be made up or comprised of 2 council members, 2 members of our planning commission, and 3 members at large, either a resident or non-resident individual that had technical background or skill or expertise that could help guide recommendations to the council for the implementation of this new updated general plan. So we have cast our net, so to speak, seeking the involvement and keeping in mind these are volunteers, so we very much appreciate their commitment to this process. We were very fortunate in landing some individuals whose background varied either in environmental background or land use experience. Some of them are regional planners. Some of them have design and transportation and or infrastructure experience. So we did ask for 3 candidates to be considered. We did receive 3 applications for that process, and those 3 applications, which I believe have been made available to the public and to the council, we're asking for their we're asking for their consideration to appointment to the by the council this evening, and that is concludes staff's recommendation.
Okay, we'll open it up to public comment, and then we'll name, do you want to name, does it matter when we name who they are? We only have the 3 applicants, I think.
It's public record.
So I'd like to name the 3 applicants before I open it up to public comment. There's nothing secret. Samuel Rash? Rashay. Adam Reed, and Mr. James Murphy. So those are the 3 members that applied that we have here before us to appoint, and now I'll open up to public comment. So any members like to come to the podium regarding this item, please come to the podium, state your name for the record, and welcome. Or not, you don't have to come to the podium. Okay, so we'll close the public comment. Nobody wants to come forward and speak on this item? Okay, council direction.
Motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Ambrose.
Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So the 3 individuals, welcome, and thank you for your free service to the city of Atwater. We look forward to working with you, and it'll be a very important journey for this community. So excited. This looks like 3 great candidates too. Council comments? Councilman Kale?
Well, first I want to agree with Mr. Santos's remarks about our firemen up in the hills. We got I'll make sure we have a whole bunch of families that are displaced. And I hope that they're all get taken care of and they're safe at the end of the day, and our firemen are safe at the end of the day. And I just pray for everyone out there in our community down here. When the fires happen up in the hills, we all take a deep breath and it take in on us. So I'll pray for all those guys. About some of the comments today, in my notes I went, we're asking for more money. And you know what? Everybody's asking us for more money too. And rightfully so. I mean, you know what? Everybody deserves a pay raise. Police deserve a pay raise. The firemen deserve pay raises. Staff deserve pay raises. Just be thankful we're not asking for pay raises up here. I had a guy tell me, he says, I pay your salary. I gave him a quarter, and I said, now you make more than me. We do this out of the love of our city, so that we can evolve, get the city into a place. And we take heat and point fingers are pointed at us, because we didn't do what they thought we should do. Well, you know what? You can put your name on a ballot and come up here and take that heat and take it for no money. I guarantee you, this group of people love the city and truly love this city. I, for one, especially love this city. This gas, you said those checks, I missed them. I have them written down. And I'm sure our finance director is going to get with you. And I ask that you get, if not an email, sent to all of us so we can find out that too. I would appreciate that. And the ambulance situation. Here's the deal with the ambulance situation. Yes, we have an ambulance situation. It's right over there, a station. It's right over there on Linton Way. And if an ambulance is called off in Merced, do you know where that ambulance goes to? Halfway between Merced and Atwater, to cover the other side of Merced. So there are many times when we don't have an ambulance in town. And I'm actually evaluating a potentially a system that can help us get our own private ambulance here in the city of Atwater, so we don't have to rely upon them. But with that, we need first responders who can get there. A long time ago, I was one of those first responders. I was a volunteer fireman for the city of Atwater. And at that time, I was an ER nurse and got called out all the time for medical. And do you know what the firemen did? John, here, get back, everybody, go ahead, John. So I could triage them. We need to make sure that we take care of everybody. And yes, we have to ask for more money, as much as I hated doing that last meeting. Especially with the outcome of the economy right now. But it had to be done. Has to be done. And like Pastor Miller said, I did have to pray for it, and I did pray for it, even afterwards. And I think we're going to make we made a right decision. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Ambrose.
No comment tonight.
Wonderful week. Councilman Button,
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Freeman.
Nothing.
Okay, I've got a list about 2 pages long, but I just make it short. We'll condense it today for sanity reasons. Mariposa, the people in Mariposa, if you guys know anybody or you guys want to help or donate, please reach out to Mariposa County, the Sheriff's Department up there, and the CAL FIRE station up there. There's a lot of animals that are displaced. They need food. It's really a big mess. I went up there and got as close as I could to it. They need some help. They're our friends. They're our neighbors right up here. A lot of us go to Mariposa. A lot of them come down here for services. So please pray for those people in Mariposa, in that area of the community, and give if you can. There's a place, like I said, the Sheriff's Department or Mariposa County to reach out to give. And I want to thank everybody for the wonderful comments tonight, and we will do our best to answer. Whether we get the exact specific answer you want right away, I don't know, but staff, it's their responsibility to drill down and get you the answers you need, whether you like them or not. And thank you again, and meeting adjourned.